They have been blocking off cars that have been coming through. You can hear them chanting now, no justice, no peace. This is a storm drain. Part of it's covered with blocks of snow, creating a problem when it comes to draining these. And the standoff is still very, very active. It is ongoing, and they've asked people in the area to stay away. In the past 30 minutes, we've heard police give the suspect multiple warnings over a loudspeaker, telling him if he does not come out of the house, they will break in. 53-year-old Robert Waters has been behind bars in Beaufort County, South Carolina since last Sunday. Beaufort County says jail officers found an inmate dead yesterday during a routine check. See.
Hey, guess what?
Let's go. It's time. That suspect was taken into custody within the last hour or so. He was arrested about a mile away from this home on Clinton Avenue, where police surrounded all day, guns drawn. And that makes sense when this is what you're seeing around the area. Tons of downed trees and limbs and heavy rains that just passed through here, but creating flood-like conditions. We just spoke with them. They said they've lived in this home for 43 years, and this is the worst flooding they've ever seen. He says part of it looked like it was already iced over, and then more water came on top of it. Now they're dealing with that icing over again.
Say a minute 48.
Stop! That's exactly what I wrote. That's exactly what I wrote. Yes. Yeah, Erica, Andy, I'm having too much fun out here. Can you tell? There are more than 80 vendors expected here. Tons of live music, tons of animals. I asked how many shots they might have heard. They weren't able to tell me, but did say when police arrived to the scene, they counted 8 evidence markers. If this does pass, that could help maintain abortion rights here in our state. That will be up to our highest court if it does not pass. Speaking of governors, right now we're in the middle of the gubernatorial race as well. Prosecutors tell me he refused to testify against his brother. That's why that deal was voided. They're posted on different trees in this wooded area, warning people that have been living in tents here that they have 24 hours to pack up their things and go. There were questions today on if 36-year-old Brandon Bozzi is mentally competent enough to be arraigned on those 2 charges, false report or threat of terrorism and false report of a bomb. He appeared very confused in court today, talking out of turn, even having to be muted so he didn't compromise his own case. The judge did move forward with the arraignment, and she ordered a competency exam.
I'm not sure what the hell I understood at this point.
36-year-old Brandon Bozzi from Montcalm County arraigned in Kalamazoo County Court today, wearing a suicide prevention gown.
Do you at least understand what's being alleged?
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Confused as the judge reads off his first charge, false report or threat of terrorism.
I could pay you $20,000 if that's gonna make you go away. Maybe I'm sorry.
And mistaking the penalties of his second charge, false report of a bomb, as a better deal.
I'll take that one. You said 4 years and $2,000. I'll take that one.
Just yesterday, the father of 2 barged into the front doors of News Channel 3, telling our chief engineer he had a bomb and he wasn't afraid to die.
He kind of pushed his way in, said he had an explosive device, at which point then I evacuated the lobby, locked it, and cleared the building.
Both floors of our building were cleared and no one was injured, including Bozzi, who after a more than 2-hour standoff came outside with his arms up and was placed into handcuffs.
I did not think that was real.
Mister, okay, I don't want you to talk about the case. Hear me out.
During negotiations, he sat in our lobby smoking cigarettes, and Judge Tiffany Inkley says he repeated to officers that he had a bomb and he wanted them to shoot him.
What I need to know is whether or not you have an understanding of what you are being accused of. Even if you disagree with it.
I like that. I mean, accused of that, yeah.
Yeah, you're being accused, so do you understand that it's yes or no?
Did I do it though?
Judge Inkley asking deputies to mute Bozzi's microphone during today's arraignment while she discussed the case with his public defender.
Why don't we mute him, because I don't want him to say anything that's going to compromise his rights.
Bozzi is seen waving to get their attention, standing up and removing his gown. Ultimately, Judge Inkley ordering a competency exam and issuing a $500,000 cash surety bond. If he is able to post bond, the judge also requested that he wear a tether. A lot of unanswered questions tonight, like how he made it all the way to Kalamazoo and why he targeted our station. What we do know is Bozzi never had a bomb. This isn't his first run-in with the law, and he does have a history of mental illness. The biggest one here at the soul of Michigan State University, a steady flow of students placing flowers, posters, and candles alongside a statue of their mascot, Sparty. Each of them taking the time to mourn their forever changed campus and community and the lives of 3 students lost. At the heart of Michigan State University, a symbol of strength, a warrior ready to face the unfaceable.
Sometimes you can just never really be prepared for things like this.
Sparty stands tall, shouldering the grief of more than 50,000 students.
It's heartbreaking to see all these people come up and dropping off all the flowers and candles and posters for all the loved ones that were affected by the shooting.
The campus is quiet. Less than a day after a 43-year-old gunman killed 3 of their classmates, sophomore Brian Fraser and juniors Alexandria Werner and Ariel Anderson.
I'm a little angry about it because the shooter, I don't want to say got away with it, but you know, he passed last night and he didn't face any reparations for what he did.
Many working through the deadly tragedy their own way, embracing their friends, saying prayers, and letting their tears drop, all in silence.
I think the grief process is individualized. It's different for everyone. It's hard to put like a rhyme or reason into it, even a timeline.
Everyone looking up to a man, a Spartan, who has defended the green and white for nearly 7 decades, a sentinel and a warrior who will carry them through this battle too. 5 other students shot remain in critical condition. Michigan State will hold a vigil at the Rock Wednesday night to remember the victims and to let the world know that Spartans will. There was not a dry eye tonight. A massive amount of people gathering here, circled around these 3 crosses, remembering those 3 students that were killed Monday night. It was a somber experience, moments of silence broken up by spouts of sobs. A campus trying to internalize what happened just 48 hours ago. Brothers of the Phi Delta Theta fraternity pick each other up this evening. Red eyes, tight hugs, and angry cries. A remarkable sense of sadness as this group of men and a campus of 50,000 try to make sense of something senseless.
It doesn't make sense. It will never make sense. And that's the part that just really sucks.
Together, they lay down a Phi Delta flag, flowers, and a lone Miller Lite in honor of their brother, Brian Fraser. He was killed 2 nights ago when a 43-year-old gunman opened fire on Michigan State University's campus. Also killed, juniors Alexandria Werner and Ariel Anderson.
This campus has always just felt different to me. It just felt like home, like nothing really could happen here.
Around them, a crowd of thousands begin to form. A vigil centered around 3 crosses, 1 for each victim.
I think this will help in different ways for different people.
The silence is deafening. Moments of relief come in sobs and songs.
It feels empty but whole. I think us as individuals feel very empty. We all feel very alone. But then yet when you saw all these people here tonight, we all came together as a community and we saw that we're not alone.
They watch as Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer makes her way through the thousands of people and lays down a bouquet of flowers. Then they listen as she stands in front of them and promises to take action.
Holding each other's hands, pulling in tips.
I'm just really hoping we're going to be the start of the real change.
In closing, Whitmer referenced a quote from Alexandria in her high school yearbook. Today may be hard, but tomorrow will be better. The vigil ended with speeches from students and staff members. 5 other students shot are in critical condition tonight. Police say they will not be releasing their names. So far today, police tell me they've given about $12,000 worth of tickets, all for people swimming in the water under red flag conditions. They're still out here today. You can see him right now. He's walking up to the shoreline. It's the first time since the ordinance has gone into effect that police are ticketing people $1,000 for swimming when red flags are flying. Police say they had to call in officers on their off day today to help patrol the beaches after numerous calls came in from concerned citizens about people risking these dangerous waters. Red flags, big waves, and heavy patrols to keep beachgoers out of dangerous waters.
I specifically focus on people with kids. I'll talk to everybody, but I really crack it down with the kids because they're the most susceptible to getting swept out. And I mean, as a kid, I did it too. You want to go out further and you don't realize the danger.
South Haven area emergency services drive along the South Beach shoreline, telling people to get out of the water.
I mean, we're kind of mad, but you know, it's a beautiful day to be out here on this nice beach, and like a bummer that we can't go in the water.
Going into the water during red flag conditions could cost you $1,000.
Now that we're stuck on the beach, the only thing we can really do is build sandcastles, so I'm kind of upset about that.
Some made it out of the water with just a warning. Police ticketed at least 12 people.
How's that helping people? That's not helpful.
They got them out of the water.
But you could have got them out of the water with a warning.
I'm not going to dispute this with you.
2 people from out of state drowned last week. A 33-year-old man went in to save a 7-year-old boy. Both died.
My entire shift for the day is out here doing beach enforcement. There's numerous people on the beach, as you can see. There's red flags up, as you can see that as well. And they're not paying attention to the flags.
Across the channel, yellow flags wave in the wind. Police say people can swim here at their own risk. Now, this officer and his department aren't the only people out here watching the beach today. Parking Division is here too, and now they can monitor the waters and can write tickets to people who swim when red flags are up. Jumping off the pier at any time can also get you a ticket. The enforcer tells me he stuck to warnings today as long as people who got out of the water didn't get right back in, and we did see that happen today. A once-in-a-generation event to crown a monarch has arrived in Britain. We'll bring you coverage of King Charles III's coronation. Plus, several students in West Michigan are grieving the loss of a fellow classmate, how they're using their pain to stand up and make a difference. And the Drug Enforcement Agency wraps up a year-long initiative targeting Mexican cartels. How many arrests officials have made in just the past year.
Covering West Michigan to protect and alert you. This is News Channel 3, live at 6.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Taking you back out live to Westminster Abbey in London, where the official coronation ceremony for King Charles just kicked off. Crowds in London and viewers around the world will witness the first British coronation since 1953, when Queen Elizabeth II ascended to the throne. While the ceremony started about an hour ago, British royal fans have been up already and early celebrating the big day. And just a little bit ago, King Charles made his way from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey. The royal procession spread for nearly 1.5 miles through the streets of London, giving the crowds the opportunity to see their king. The procession ran through the Mall, where people have been camping out for days to secure the best position possible to witness this historic event. And some of those campers were lucky enough to see King Charles yesterday when he stopped to say hi to some fans before the big day.
It's almost like he has like a golden aurora around him. Honestly, that's what it looks like.
William, who is heir to the throne, and Princess Kate also greeted well-wishers yesterday. Earlier this week, Buckingham Palace announced more than 2,200 people will attend. Guests will, of course, include members of the royal family, but representatives from 203 countries will also be on hand. That includes First Lady Jill Biden. And Prince Harry will also be attending the ceremony today, but without his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. One of the reasons is because today is also the day their son, Prince Archie, turns 4 years old. Meghan will be staying in California with Prince Archie and his little sister, Princess Lilibet. The prince has reportedly not seen members of the royal family since Queen Elizabeth II's funeral back in September. Harry is expected to spend less than 48 hours in the UK and has been promoting his book titled Spare. Let's head over now to Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson for a look at our Coronation Day forecast. Good morning. Well, this just in our newsroom. 2 teenagers are in the hospital following an early morning shooting in Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety says they responded to the reports of shots fired around 2 this morning on West Patterson Street near Douglas Avenue. Deputies say they did not find any victims at the scene, but 2 people with gunshot wounds arrived at the hospital an hour later. A 16-year-old Kalamazoo resident and a 16-year-old Lansing resident were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. There are currently no suspects. As As Battle Creek Central students are grieving the loss of their fellow classmate who was shot and killed back in February, they turned their pain into passion Friday, rallying against gun violence in a school-wide march. It's the 4th year in a row Battle Creek Central's graduating class has had to celebrate their accomplishments while grieving the loss of a classmate. Hundreds of students marched to remember 2 students who died this year. Former Battle Creek Central High School Jaquan West, who was found dead inside an apartment with his mother, and 17-year-old Jack Snyder. Police say Snyder was brutally shot and killed by 2 teenagers he was offering a ride home to. Jack's mom telling us the community is fed up with the violence. Jack's parents want people to not be afraid to be nice within their community and say no one should be killed as a result of doing just that. They hope this march makes a real difference. 2 workers are being treated for chemical burns after one fell into a large container of sodium hydroxide in Grand Rapids. It happened yesterday afternoon at Advanced Plating and Finishing. One worker was hurt after falling in, and another worker was hurt as he pulled out the coworker. Both employees were being showered off by other coworkers when first responders arrived. They were both sent to the hospital. And the Drug Enforcement Agency is announcing the end of a year-long national operation to get fentanyl off the streets. More than 3,000 arrests have been made and nearly 44 million fentanyl pills have been seized. In mid-April, Kalamazoo police reported more than 7 deaths from a deadly batch of fentanyl and dozens of overdoses. Today, Michigan State Police say the impact of these arrests will be seen for years to come. The DEA administrator says the majority of these cases have some sort of link to social media. She says the cartels and their traffickers use apps like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok to sell their deadly products. For the first time, the State Department is standing up a global health bureau to respond to health challenges around the world. Secretary of State Antony Blinken toured the CDC Emergency Operations Center Friday in Atlanta. He spoke with outgoing CDC Director Rochelle Walensky about ways to build up global health security in a sustainable way. Blinken says the COVID pandemic and opioid epidemic teach us that disease outbreaks can result in societal breakdowns.